Hello, Taurus. Happy April. Welcome to or welcome back to Marion K Tarot. Hope you're well. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Taurus for April 2025. How did we get here, Taurus? I don't know. Anyway, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling a card from the Sacred Connections deck, and this is a love deck. There is a love deck, there is a self deck, and there is a friendship deck, and maybe it's a Venus retrograde, or maybe it is the fact that Neptune's just moved in Aries. I don't know what it is, but that was the energy that I felt we needed to have. So let us see the messages that come through. These have been really quite interesting. I've just done the fire signs, and these have been interesting for them. Oh gosh. Okay, so card that's coming through is okay, so what part of our relationship needs improvement? Now, immediately, Taurus, I know you're going to be like, well, absolutely nothing because I'm perfect. And you probably are, let's be honest, right? However, we all need to accept the fact that sometimes the relationships we have in our life, they need to be streamlined, shall we say. I'm not sure if we want to say the whole word improvement. But I mean there is always room for improvement. And that does not mean to say that there is something wrong with your relationships currently. It could just be that, there's room to level up. It's like food. It's like anything. There's always a more decadent something to try and to experience. Okay, so as I say, all Tauruses are welcome. All Taurus placements are welcome. And if you're a wee fancy cross watcher, hello. I don't really get that many cross watchers, I don't think. But if you are, then do let me know in the comments, because it would be interesting to know. And maybe you're a Taurus with a Taurus. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get some cards out, and I'm using the Crow Tarot because it shouted on me. In actual fact, you know what it did? This morning, I was just kind of awakening up, and that kind of half asleep, half awake, sleepy wee nice moment you have. And this deck came into my head, and I was like, all right, okay, so am I using that this week? All right then. So yeah, and it's a bit bigger than your standard tarot decks. It's more the size of an oracle deck, so it's like, it can be a bit tricky, a bit unwielding, not unlike us Taurus, Okay, keep that there so that we can see it. Okay, so some cards. What's that? Right, the sun's came out, so we're going to take that. Right, Leo energy. And what have we got? We've got the 9 of Cups. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. And we've got the Hierophant. Look at us showing up for ourselves, Taurus. Woohoo! And then in the underside at the bottom of the deck, we have got Temperance. Okay, so both fire cards there, right? Both cards, the Sun is Leo and Temperance is Sagittarius, respectively. Okay, so what have we got? This 9 of Cups, it's Pisces energy, it's all the things, it's all the wishes coming true. And then we've got 9 of Pentacles, Virgo energy. And then we've got ourselves, right? I say ourselves because for anybody new here, I'm a Taurus Sun, okay? It feels Do you know what it feels like, Taurus? Right? I'm going to take myself out of this equation, right? Because this is not about me. Um, the overriding feeling that I'm getting is it feels almost too good to be true. Okay, that's the energy that I'm picking up on, that's coming for you when you watch this, listen to this, however you want to proceed with it. It feels, you're kind of looking at the situations that's going on in your life, and it's like, oh no, this feels too good to be true. Right, because what we're talking about essentially is we're talking about our emotions with the cups, because the cups are our emotions. So love, relationships, how we feel about ourselves, we're in ourselves, how other people make us feel. And then we're talking about our resources, we're talking about our physical resources, we're talking about, so it can be work, career, um, building a wealth, building a resources, that sort of thing. And it's like, is this really right? It's like, then we've got the sun. The sun is the happiest card in the deck. I will often read the sun as the it's too close. It's like it's a kind of story of Icarus, who flew too close to the sun, and the heat of the sun melted the wax, and he basically unalived himself, as the kids are calling it these days. But what really stands out to me is it's like, do you know what? Finally, Taurus, finally the good times are rolling. That's what it feels like. And yes, there is a cautionary wariness to some of this. Um, and I think that it's important to do that, to be cautious, because eh, history has proven, life has proven to is that if it's too easy, it isn't real, and if it's too easy, we don't want it. Okay, but sometimes, please trust the process. Trust the process, and this is not that all of a sudden life has become super easy. It's not, because you've been through the ringer. Okay, um, you've been through, like, we're kind of finishing up. Uranus and Taurus is still going to dance in and out of the sign over the next couple of years, 18 months or so, until it finally gets into Gemini permanently. But this sort of it feels like it's this reward time because you have done the work, right? And that part of your relationship needs improvement, right? Is it the relationship with yourself? Is it that deep understanding? And perhaps this has came about because you had decided, Taurus, you decided to meet your needs, to put your needs first, to go through that fear, that feeling of fear, and do it anyway. Grasp whatever has been going on, right? Grasp it by the horns, do you know what I mean? And just charged ahead. And you have decided to do that, and this is the culmination of that. This is the culmination of the things that you have wanted, and you dared to dream, Taurus. You dared to dream, and the dreams have came true. Okay, now I'm not saying it's the same for every single Taurus, of course not. This is a general reading. However, I do believe very strongly that if you are watching this or listening to this video, there is some aspect of your life that has all of a sudden just lit up, and it's been like, oh wow, this is incredible. It's like the work has been getting done. You've done so much work, and we've been through so much crap, so much pain, just so much horribleness, and it's like, finally, we are able to just take a check in ourselves and say, do you know what? This is the right time for this, and it feels like, and it's almost like this divine timing, right? I'm going to use the energy of the Hierophant here for this, right? It feels like a divine timing, And it could be towards the end of April when, early Tauruses, April Tauruses start to celebrate your birthday. Happy birthday in advance, by the way. But that's what it feels like, it's like this culmination. You've came to this point in your life where it's birthday season coming up, and you're like, right, what have I achieved? It's, I mean, because some people, you could have left a job and you could have went to pursue another job or a new career or something, and it's just been this need. And when you do it, you realize, oh, this is the excitement I've been needing. Some of you, it could be with this, again, these 9 cups, wishes coming true. It could be that you've met somebody, you could have met somebody romantically, or, you could have met somebody who has just like blown your mind. And you're like, oh my goodness, wow, I did not know that there were people could be this way. You know, that's what it feels like. And it's almost like you've been introduced to a different way of thinking, and it's just all of a sudden these light bulbs have been going off in your head, thinking, "Wow, I could have that. If I really want it, I could do what I want, and I could have what I want." Because it's like you've already been through the hard times, the difficult times. You have alchemized it. So remember, Temperance is a card of alchemy. It's also a card of patience. And if nothing else, Taurus is renowned for the patience that it takes, because it's a slow and steady race. But now you're almost like, no, I'm so done with slow and steady. It's like you just want to open up the rest of your your the rest of your feelings and your emotions, anything you have had like that's been internalized for so long. It feels like over the month of April you will have these opportunities to express yourself in a way that you've never really been able to. You've either never felt comfortable in doing so, or there's this opportunity to become the person that you want to be. And I always think that, see if, like, for instance, like when you start a new job, right? It's an opportunity to reinvent yourself. There's like a reinvention. It's like nobody knows any of your story. It's like you can say as much or as little as you want, and you don't you don't have to be who you were previously, or it's maybe like if you move to a new town or a new city or a new place. It's like you can just be whoever you want to be. You don't have to be who you were. You can take the parts of yourself that you really like and you can work in that. Again, the part of a relationship needs improvement. So again, for single Taurians, watching this, listening to this, it can be that relationship with yourself, and it can be the relationship that you have with other people. How are your boundaries, Taurus? Do you feel fulfilled? That's the question. It's like, do you feel fulfilled? The sun is shining on you. The sun is literally shining on you. It is the happiest card. Trust the feeling that you have, right? Okay, trust it. Don't try your best not to overthink it. Try your best to live in the moment, Taurus. Okay, live in the moment. Feel the feelings. Feel the intensity of the feelings, because what's interesting is it's like this 9 of cups and this 9 of pentacles, right? They've both got bright suns in them, right? Both get suns. The sun is here, the sun is actually out. So I know certainly in the northern hemisphere, yeah, we're getting into springtime and then summer, but it's this, there's just this overwhelming joy, okay? And it can be internal, it can be external, okay? But Wherever it is, whatever you do, Taurus, in the month of April, enjoy it. Okay? And enjoy the thrill of living the life that you want to live, that you've finally been able to live. And if you are listening to this saying, oh, I wish I could, then try it. You know, don't just just set the fear aside for even one day, right? One day, Taurus, just set it aside. Oh, it's a book, isn't it? Oh my god, I love that book. Anyway, set it aside and just think to yourself, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to see what it feels like. See the what ifs, Taurus. Think about the what ifs and go for it. Instead of saying what if, actually try it. Okay, my loves. Exciting times ahead, I would suggest. And please enjoy. Okay, take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.